So I asked you which video I should make, and well, I delivered. I have some of the coolest and most useful gadgets you can buy for your streaming setup, and they are all below $25. I will also link everything in the description so you can easily find the products I'm talking about. Now if you want to spend a bit more than $25, you might want to get a graphics pack from the sponsor of this video, which is Own.tv. Own.tv is a big graphics webshop for streamers with things like complete overlay packages to personalize your stream, an emote maker that lets you customize your own emote and then buy the designs that would be most fitting for your stream or your Discord group, a very similar badge maker, then pre-made sub badges, bit badges and emotes. Many of my community have already bought from them. I will add their link to the description, and don't forget to use my code TVN for 50% of your price. Now the first product is something many streamers either think they don't need or they think it's too expensive, and it's a dedicated light to upgrade your stream's quality. I've tested the difference between having a room light on and then having a dedicated light shining on you, and the difference was incredible. I mean, this budget desk light makes you go from looking like a Facebook dad to being ready to be on the homepage of Masterclass next to Gordon freaking Ramsay. Now with this light costing only around $20, it's one of the cheapest ways to upgrade your stream's quality. You will become more bright and the background will become darker. This light is easily attachable to any desk, and the arm itself as well as the head are very versatile. You can move them in any position you want, and you will either get an on and off switch like this, or it will be on the top of the head. To get a professional looking result, you want to move the light a bit above your head and then to the side, because that will make it shine downwards and create a shadow on the other side of your face, which will make you look like a Chad. If there's a triangular shadow on one side of your nose, you know you're doing it right. Now to make it look even better, I also used a t-shirt as a diffuser. You could use any type of cloth and attach it to the light, and I really advise doing this because it makes a pretty big difference. This is also the reason I'm choosing an LED light, because LED lights don't get nearly as hot as halogen lights, so the possibility that it will set your cloth on fire when you use it as a diffuser will be pretty low. However, I would still be very careful with this. It's also important to choose the right light bulb, since it should be between 5 and 6000 Kelvin to look the best. This is the color temperature, and as you can see in this example of my Elgato key lights, it determines how warm or how cold the produced light will be. When buying one of these lights for yourself, make sure that the voltage is what your country uses, that it's LED, then between 7 and 15 watts, and if the light bulb isn't included, then look for one with the shape that's listed, one with at least the wattage that's being produced by the light, and then again preferably around 5000 Kelvin. An Elgato Stream Deck is very expensive, and it turns out that many people use it for rather simple things like muting your microphone, switching a scene, launching a program. Well, what if I told you that this $9 numpad can do all of that and more without interfering with any keys on your keyboard, including the numpad itself? That's right, your PC will use this as a macro device with 18 macro buttons instead of using it as a simple numpad. By the way, these buttons feel extremely satisfying to press. There is both a wired and wireless version of this, and I will link it down below. Now the way you use this numpad as a macro device is by using two applications, HID Macros and Noobs Commander. And you can do some really interesting stuff with this. For example, you can make a macro that will hide your webcam in the in-game scene, then it will switch to the in-game scene only showing the game, then it will wait for 1 second, and after that it will show your webcam. Now if you export this command as a file and then bind that file to button 1 on your keyboard with HID Macros, then clicking this button will now transition to your in-game scene and then show the webcam 1 second later. There are a lot of possibilities with this. If you want a step-by-step guide, you can watch Nutty's video. I will link it below. He's the one that made the interface for Noobs Commander, making it easy to set up macros, etc. And he gives a great explanation on how to set up everything. Plus he's kind of funny, so yeah, go watch him. Have you ever looked at your keyboard and thought, this is disgusting, I should really clean this? Well, if you are a streamer, you probably eat in front of your PC, at least I do, which means there might be some artifacts between your keys. This keyboard cleaning kit sells for only $6 on Amazon. It consists of a 2-in-1 keycap plus switch puller as well as 2 brushes. Make sure to take a picture of your keyboard layout before taking off all the keycaps, since it's going to save you a lot of time when trying to put everything back together. Now, when you took off your keycaps before starting to clean the keyboard, you should put all your keycaps in warm water with soap and then let them sit there for about 30 to 60 minutes. That's where the brushes come into play. They are a really easy tool to remove dust, hairs, crumbs or whatever slip between your keys, and after removing most of it, you can finish it up using a damp cloth to remove anything that's left and make your keyboard squeaky clean. After about an hour, simply take your keycaps out of the water, dry them with a towel, and then just place them all with the opening facing downwards and let them dry for the whole night. You can also put a towel on top of them to make sure that the top side will be completely dry as well. Then the next day, just assemble everything back together and you should have a brand new looking keyboard that won't disgust you every time you look at it. If there is one thing that instantly makes any boring background look a bit better, it's gotta be adding some RGB. And while not everyone is a fan of RGB, which I completely understand, it can be a big help when you don't have the budget to decorate a whole room, just so your background looks a bit better. This is a 15 watts $28 RGB light. They come with an application to control the lights and there are quite a bit of options in here. You can choose your color using either one of these color pickers, then choose a preset color at the bottom, or upload a picture of your setup and then select a color that way to guarantee it will match your color scheme. This slider is to change the brightness, and then on the bottom there are a few special modes. There are 2 reactionary music modes, but they are pretty crappy. However, the style option could be used if pulsating a specific color is something you would like. Then the timing mode, this is to let you turn them on and off on a schedule, and this mode is here since these lights are usually meant to be placed in a garden aimed at a tree or a bush and then schedule them to turn on and off in the evening. I'm using one of these in my background right now, so I highly recommend them, and while they may seem pretty small, they are definitely strong enough to light up a simple room. I'm not gonna lie, these past 4 products were great, but the thing I love the most in my setup, and which also has its use for streaming, is my monitor desk arms. Having all this space under and in front of your screen is something you will never want to give up anymore once you're used to it, and to be honest, this setup looks so much cleaner without the monitor stands. On top of that, you can also use this arm to mount your monitor vertically, which is what a lot of streamers like to do to read their chat, since you can see a bigger chat history this way. The arm will set you back about $25, but man is it worth every penny. When everything is installed, you will be able to pull the monitor towards you. You will also be able to move it sideways and then push it back, but if you want to be able to change the height of the monitor, you will need to untighten the screw on the back, then readjust the position and tighten the screw again. You also don't need much space behind your desk since the arm can collapse almost completely, making this mount a viable option for almost any gaming or streaming setup. Now, if this RGB light didn't quite do it for you, I suggest watching this video because there I went over a bunch of my RGB products. Some of them are behind me right now, and I really advise watching that video if you want to spice up your setup with some lighting. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. And besides that, I hope I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.